What's up, guys? It's me, Wonder Kid Tino, back with another video of episode talks. And this should be episode 4 or 5, one of those two. But I want to talk to you guys about, a really true reality topic, especially like in the art community. And what I mean by art, I'm not just talking about like painting or particularly what I do. I'm talking about all the fields of art, right? So I want to talk to you guys basically about, not only just my experience, but, just what I just came to the conclusion of what success and failure is. Um, and I'm gonna try to make this short, but when you look at success, people equate success to, you know, uh, materialism, having a certain, you know, material possession, whether it's like a house or a car, or some people equate with success with followers and views. Some people equate success, you know, with what is that word I'm looking for? With getting a certain amount of money at a particular age. Um, so a lot of these, different aspects of what the idea of success is. And from my experience, you know, pursuing art independently for 10 years, or I should say a little over 10 years. August of 2025 will make 11 years. Um, with my experience, doing that, honestly, bro, like true success is this. Um, True success is factored based upon your level of peace. Um, what do you mean by that? Well, with you pursuing whatever it is that you're trying to pursue, I'm kind of like, this could just be anything. Um, what I've learned is do things that give you a good night's sleep. Um, do things that will give you peace at night at the end of the day. And what I've learned through my pursuit of the arts is that, for one thing, with my relationship with the Lord, has granted me a significant amount of self security, um, according to esteem, according to character, according to all of that stuff, to where I don't feel the need to be desperate. I don't feel the need to, prove myself to show people that I am successful. I realize that I don't really need a whole lot of money to um, give sound, knowledgeable wisdom uh, to anybody. I don't need to, to be on the Forbes list, just to show everybody that, like, hey, I am successful. I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions that we have in our world. Excuse me if I'm sniffling. I have really bad allergies. That's one of the biggest misconceptions that we have in the world, and that's what our ideologies are built upon. Is based upon, more of the physical, rather than, the substance on the inside. But also another aspect too of success. Look, bro, as long as you try, and I'm talking about like you putting your best foot forward. As long as you try, something, whether you have an idea or whether, you know, anything, man, as long as you try, dude, you are beating out the majority of people that just sit around and just talk about success. You are one of, you're in one of that rare percentiles, you know, of just it's just simple, man. It's just trying, man. It's just trying, putting your best foot forward, and the success is not built upon the reward that you're going to get necessarily, but success is built upon your learning experience, your errors, your just how the world opened up to you, just from a standpoint of just meeting different people, building relationships with other people, all those things, man. That's what true success is. And throughout my close to 11 years of pursuing this art stuff, I realized that more now, as I'm, a little bit older. And I thank the Lord for that, because, you can become lost of trying to chase after the ideologies of success that people have created themselves to be, whether it's, certain philosophies and all that stuff. But, our Lord and Savior, man, he made it real simple for us. God is our peace, he has blessed us, with the fruits of the Spirit to, have peace, to have long suffering, to have joy, and all those things, man. I mean, he really has made it simple. And, I'm not trying to make this channel a preachy channel, but at the same time, outside of my creativity and my artistic knowledge, I am a man that serves the Lord. So I just want to make that clear before, anybody like, oh, that's, this is just, where's the art, this is just who I am. I'm artistic, but I also, follow after Jesus. And, with the aspects of success, man, it's like the same thing with failure. People equate failure into like, it has to be this way and one way, and if it doesn't, then it's just, it's just the way. And I think with success and failure, the way we look at it as a society and what, we are brainwashed to view is this narrow, like, viewpoint. Like, it has to be this particular way. Like, it has to operate this way and this way and that way and all of that. And that's not true, man. What I've learned in life is like, your life is like a tree. When people look at a tree, they don't just look at a tree like just going straight up. You know what I'm saying? Trees have many branches. There's some short ones, long ones. There's some extinctions of long ones. But it's all still cultivated under one tree. Big, small. That's how it's designed. And that's how life is. Life is one big tree. And whatever you're reaping in life is going to reap out the benefits of the fruit. I will say an aspect of it is financial security. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that, money isn't, a sign of rewarded for your labor. But I'm just saying that we put a lot of emphasis on the money, and we're skipping out on things that we should be building eternally, like our character, our, overall, like our knowledge, and sharing that knowledge while, we're still trying to progress and, to figure out, and all that stuff. And yeah, man, it's just that we just have our own expectations that we want out of life, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But like I said, when it clouds your judgment, that's where the issues occur. And when you look at failure, failure is simple, man. The way I view failure is quitters are quitters. Quitters are more in the aspects of where they will have, the ideologies of their own expectations. And like I said, if it doesn't uh, go according to the way that they want to or the way that they envision, or they realize that they're not there at a particular point, period, or an age bracket, then they just quit. To me, that's a definition of a failure. And, I actually believe that we live in a society of a lot of failures. Not to be mean or rude, but just the way that, again, society has basically, told us what success is, um, based upon just very shallow ideals. And it's easy for people to quit now more than ever because if there's something that isn't going to go viral, then, what's the point? You know what I'm saying? Um, and all that. So that's just, my 2 cents on success and failure. However, outside of, those two uh, beginning and ends, there's a reality aspect in between. And that reality aspect, I'm going to be honest, getting back to the arts, if you're doing any type of field in arts, from my experience, and this is just doing it on an independent level, and I've had a little bit of experience in trying to pursue it more, what can I say, like just more, what's that word I'm looking for? I guess you can say more corporately. I tried to pursue it more corporately. On both ends, there's no money in it. Now, the corporate aspects of it, whether, you're trying to work for a corporation, whether you're providing your design skills for, a corporation, they do pay you. But the reason why I still put that on there is because the amount of competitiveness in the art field, I don't care what you do, creatively, the amount of, competition, whether you're doing YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, whether you're freelancing, whether you are pursuing a career in the design field or whatever the case may be, there's no money in it because of the amount of competition there is. And I'm not saying that competition is a bad thing, but when you have an industry that is so very, very slim pickings on who they either allow in or what you have to do to get in, I'm gonna be real. You're going to be wasting a lot of time. And I think that, in order for you to, to progress creatively or progress in what you do, uh, and continue to still have that love for what you do, I think there has to be like a reality check here. And that reality check is, how could I find something that is a primary source of income? Because there's no money in art, unless if you're the person that's willing to go back to school or to pursue school, not only to get a degree, but to get a bachelor's, to get a master's, degree in design or music production or engineering, something, unless if you're willing to do that in the arts. But if you're not willing to do that and you don't want to waste time and spend all that money, which is understandable, you're going to need to find a career that is a primary source of income. I know a lot of you guys, you guys artists don't want to hear that because, us as artists, we live so much in this creative this creative, bohemian, free-spirited world that we don't want to hear things that hurt our feelings. We don't want to deal with a lot of reality a lot of times. But I'm here to give you some reality checks, man. I think if you put that to the side and, if you look at things, from more of a mature standpoint, you will understand. But getting back to the point at hand, yeah, got to find a primary source of income. And it's true. You got to look at it from, a different perspective. That's why a lot of musicians, their money doesn't come from music per se. Of course, they get paid, but what they get paid musically does nothing. That's why they try to find other sources of income or multiple sources of income. Whether if they know that, whether they do have, for example, let's just say like they do have a viral song, and the viral song does numbers, or the viral, songs, plural, it does numbers. They have to come to an understanding that, hey, this is not going to last long, so let me try to, flip my money financially. Let me try to flip my money financially to where, I could get the best benefit I can, out of this new stage of revenue, that I'm in. So what they do is that, they get financial advisors, to figure out how they can invest their money multiple ways. What is the best aspects to save, expenses, etc. Blah, 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 blah. There's another side where, with record companies, they're investing into your music, they're investing into their music, and they're trying to, get some, the most benefit that you can, so that they can out of you. So, a lot of times it's not only just the music, but it's the sponsorships like Pepsi and all those things. They're not writing checks because, it's because like, I'm writing your check because, the song Water Bottle. No, like, your check is coming from Pepsi. Yeah, you did your songs in a commercial, but Pepsi is writing your check. It's not because of the song. It's because you are sponsored by Pepsi to use your song, but your check is just going to say Pepsi. It's not going to say the song. It's going to be so you have to. You know what I'm saying? Like it's more business savvy than you think of. Just doing music, trying to get put on. It's more to it than that. It's more to it than just doing the animations. More to it than just flicking your wrist of painting. If your mindset is just focusing on, I want to be known for, the art, or I want to make money off of my art. From my experience, it just doesn't work like that. There was a point in time, in art history, like if you look back into like the 1980s, but even then you have to be like, in New York back then, but in that particular day and age, that's where they had the art boom markets, and a lot of promising people came from that generation. Poison Kane, Andrew Warhol, Keith Haring, John Basquiat, many others, some people that developed their careers in the entertainment industry. Like everything was like brand new. Hip hop was brand new. Graffiti was somewhat, new. All of those things. But that's just more of right place at the right time, and that's just more of like a blue moon type of experience. But case in point, simple, you have to find a primary source of income. I'm not here to destroy people's dreams of being an artist, because I'm still an artist and I still do what I love to do in my life. But for me, experienced my experience for 11 years, I've come to the conclusion that throughout my diversity in the arts, which have been a blessing to cultivate my skills to where they are now, I've realized that it's not good to pursue it as a primary source of income. And what I'm doing now, and that's why I kind of been, a little bit more on the absent end, is pursuing another I don't really call it a passion, but another interest of mine, and that's computer coding. I always had an interest in coding, but yeah, yeah, man, it's just, I'm not telling you to understand and to be like me where you are in your artistic journey, because there's some people that are starting out. There's some people that don't have, my level of experience. I'm not here to discourage you. I'm here to encourage you to be successful, to don't be afraid to try new things from an artistic standpoint, because I have, but I'm also here to tell you from my experience, keep in mind of that pathway that is really going to set you up, you know what I'm saying, in life. And I'm not talking about you being desperate because you want to be put on and you happen to be around some famous people and then you want to start doing something strange for a piece of change. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about from a standpoint of, if I do this, this is going to be a secure career job for me to do while I pursue, my other artistic, interest. Because with this career job, it's, I'm working for, a company. I'm representing a company. And then privately, I'm a sole proprietorship. I'm representing, myself. So all in all, man, it's a journey, to get there. I'm still on the journey as well. I mean, it's been close to 11 years. Hasn't felt like 11 years, but, I still feel fresher than ever. And I still feel that, where I'm at creatively, I was nowhere near close of, when I first started. So if you don't get anything out of this episode here, I just want to leave you, with this, man. Keep trying, keep figuring out ways to grow artistically, man. And, man, look, man, don't put any, cap ceiling on your potential. Your ideas, your ideals of what you have today will eventually change as time goes on, as the more experience you have in this life, as an artist and just as a person. But if art is something that you truly, 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 truly love, try not to let the art die. Try to find a balance of, the gray area, the reality. Find a balance between that and, just hold on to what I told you guys about, what success is and what failure is, and just go through the process of that. So all in all, this concludes another episode. Again, it's me, Wonder Kid Tino. Hope you guys have a great day. Jesus loves you. See you in your next episode. Peace.